Okay, so this is a news story that interested me, so I thought I'd go through it and share it with you. Alberta Christian couple says adoption nixed over their views on sexuality. So this is in Canada. An evangelical Christian couple is accusing Alberta of discrimination, claiming their application to adopt a child was rejected over their religious views on gay marriage and homosexuality. The Edmonton married couple say they submitted their application last year and passed a required course for potential adoptive parents. So they've already been vetted by the system and passed a course. But during a follow-up by officials this year, the couple say they ran into trouble when they answered questions about sexuality. The couple say they accept that same-sex marriage is a legal reality, but they don't support it and believe that homosexuality is wrong. The casework supervisor explained that our religious beliefs regarding sexuality were incompatible with the adoption process, says an affidavit filed in support of an application for a judicial review of the government's decision. The casework supervisor said this stance was the official position of the Alberta government. The couple said they were asked how they would deal with a child who was questioning his or her sexuality. They told officials that children should be taught that sexuality should not be experienced or explored until a person is an adult and is married. So this belief is common in a lot of denominations, and this is the belief that until a few decades ago was common in most cultures and nations as well. But now it is an obstacle when attempting to adopt, apparently. The couple, who aren't named in the legal documents, said they treat all people with respect and their views on sexuality would have no bearing on their ability to provide a loving, secure, and happy home to a child. They said they never dreamed they would be disqualified from helping children in need because of their religious beliefs. And this is an issue here, isn't it? A family who has the means and the will to provide a loving, secure, and happy home to a child has been disqualified from helping a child in need because they have a religious belief. So their personal belief is an issue here. That says something about freedom, doesn't it? Officials with Alberta's Children's Services were not immediately available for comment. The Justice Centre for Constitutional Freedoms has filed a court application for a judicial review of the decision on behalf of the couple. In the application, the centre says the government is requiring prospective adoptive parents to discard their sincerely held religious beliefs without providing any evidence that their beliefs would negatively affect adopted children. That is because they do not have any evidence that their beliefs would negatively affect adopted children. There have actually been a few studies that point to the contrary as evidence that it's best for people to have one father and one mother in a stable home. I've read a few studies that basically pointed to children being having less delinquent records, better grades, seeming overall more well-balanced and rounded out when they had a traditional home with traditional beliefs and two parents. You can look up a lot about this subject for yourself, and there's plenty of studies of all kinds on the internet, easily accessible to people. Of course, you have to take with a grain of salt the verity of the results, as usually people who are performing studies will have an end goal in mind, or the company who is funding the study will as well. But when you look at basic statistics, even if it's for a small group or a control group, you can basically see the essential truth, and it typically does apply to a larger population as well. So, basically, they don't have evidence, and yet they are denying these people who just want to be parents. The respondent, Alberta, requires citizens to profess agreement with and support for its state-sanctioned beliefs in sexuality and gender. Requires citizens to profess agreement with and support for its state-sanctioned beliefs in sexuality and gender. So up here, the couple said they accept that same-sex marriage is a legal reality. So they're saying, it's unavoidable. The country has decided that same-sex marriage is something that is going on, and we accept that. They don't believe in it. But down here, it's saying that in order to be a part of the system and to adopt a child, the government requires parents to profess agreement with and support for their state-sanctioned beliefs. So no longer can you have your own religious beliefs and adopt a child. You have to accept the sexuality and gender beliefs of the government. So this is looking a lot like nations of old, where there would be a state religion and everyone would be forced to believe in it and follow it. But here, it's not about God, it's not about morality, it's about sexuality and gender. So this is the New World Order being enforced by not allowing regular people to be a part of the system and to provide homes for innocent young children who need to be taught and raised and provided for. It notes the couple's views are shared by Catholics, other Christians, Muslims, and Orthodox Jews. So, there's a lot of arguing between all of these denominations, but when it comes down to it, people who truly hold these beliefs, they're going to agree, and they're going to have traditional conservative beliefs. I'm not talking about, couple of holiday throughout the year worshippers, or people who are just these religions in name, but people who really believe these and really worship in these faiths. They're going to have the same kind of problem. So the issue here is that you have people who have these beliefs being discriminated against. So far, it's just that they're not allowed to adopt, which is already a problem. But how long will it be until the power that be requires citizens to profess agreement with and support for its state-sanctioned beliefs in sexuality and gender, not just for adoption, but for reproduction? That seems to be the path we're going on. There are cases where people will call it child abuse if a child is considering itself transgender and the parents don't use the right pronouns. So we're already on that road here. John Carpay, the organization's president, said it will argue that the decision violates the couple's rights under the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, because it does. Making determinations about who is suitable to adopt on the basis of their sincere religious beliefs violates this couple's right to religious freedom and equality under the law, Carpay said from Calgary. Carpay doesn't expect the case will be heard until next fall. So these people will have to wait for another almost year, likely, until they're heard. In all likelihood, it's the probability of them having a favorable result for this case is not high. We can hope that they'll be allowed to have the opportunity to adopt a child that needs a home and help to raise it in, the way they see fit. But I don't know if that's going to happen. And the way things are going, it looks like it's going to go farther in the precise opposite direction, that we're going to have more rights and freedoms taken away from us, and we're going to be told, yet again, that we must profess agreement and support for state-sanctioned beliefs. No freedom,